I work as a freelance graphic designer, which means I can pretty much work from anywhere as long as I have my laptop and decent Wi-Fi. Last October, I was burning out hard. Too many clients, too many revisions, and my apartment in Portland felt like it was closing in on me. I decided I needed to get away for a week, somewhere quiet where I could still work but also decompress. I found this cabin on Airbnb up in the Cascades, about 3 hours outside the city. The listing said it had been recently renovated, had high-speed internet, and was the perfect blend of rustic charm and modern amenities. The pictures showed this beautiful A-frame cabin with huge windows, a stone fireplace, and a deck that overlooked a small lake. The host's name was David. He seemed nice enough through our messages. He told me the cabin was about a mile off the main road down a private driveway and that I'd have complete privacy. He said he lived about 10 minutes away and to just text him if I needed anything. I loaded up my car with my work stuff, groceries for the week, and some books I'd been meaning to read. The drive up was gorgeous. It was peak fall, so the trees were all these incredible shades of red and orange. When I finally reached the cabin, it was exactly like the photos, maybe even better. The lake was this perfect mirror reflecting the trees and sky. It was so quiet. No traffic sounds, no neighbors, nothing. David had left the key under a rock by the front door, just like he said he would. I let myself in and was immediately impressed. Everything was clean and well maintained. The Wi-Fi password was on a little card on the kitchen counter. I spent the first day settling in and getting some work done. The internet was actually great, which was a relief. That night I made dinner, started a fire in the fireplace, and felt like I'd made the right decision coming up here. Around 10 p.m. I decided to call it a night. I was exhausted from the drive and the work I'd cranked out. The cabin only had one bedroom upstairs in the loft area. The stairs were steep and creaky, but I figured that was just part of the charm of an old cabin. I woke up around 2 a.m. to the sound of footsteps downstairs. At first I thought I was dreaming, but then I heard them again, slow, deliberate steps on the wooden floor. My heart started pounding. I grabbed my phone from the nightstand. No signal. Of course there was no signal. I'd been using the Wi-Fi for everything. I listened. The footsteps stopped. Then I heard what sounded like the kitchen cabinets opening and closing. I wanted to convince myself it was the cabin settling, or maybe an animal that had gotten inside somehow, but I knew what I was hearing. Those were human footsteps. I stayed completely still in bed, barely breathing. After about 5 minutes of silence, I heard the front door open and close quietly. I waited another 10 minutes before I got up. I crept down the stairs as quietly as I could, my phone flashlight in one hand and a heavy book I'd grabbed as a weapon in the other. The cabin was empty. I checked everywhere. The front door was unlocked, even though I distinctly remembered locking it before bed. Nothing seemed to be missing. The cabinets in the kitchen were all closed. I locked the door again, this time also using the chain lock I hadn't noticed earlier. I dragged one of the kitchen chairs over and wedged it under the doorknob for extra measure. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. I sat on the couch with all the lights on, waiting for morning. When the sun finally came up, I felt ridiculous. In the daylight, the cabin looked completely normal and safe. I convinced myself that maybe I had been dreaming, or that the sounds were just the cabin settling like I'd originally thought. I texted David around 8 a.m. asking if anyone else had access to the property. He replied pretty quickly saying no, it was just me for the week and he hoped everything was okay. I told him everything was fine, just wanted to make sure. I spent the day working, trying to shake off the weirdness from the night before. I even walked around the perimeter of the cabin during a break, looking for any signs of footprints or disturbance. Nothing. That second night, I made sure every door and window was locked. I even moved a small dresser in front of the back door that led from the kitchen to the deck. I went to bed around 11 p.m. telling myself I was being paranoid. I woke up at 1:47 a.m. I know the exact time because I was staring at my phone when I heard the back door handle jiggling. Someone was trying to get in. The dresser I'd put in front of the door started scraping against the floor as whoever was outside pushed against the door. I could hear them grunting with effort. I jumped out of bed and yelled, "I'm calling the police!" Even though I had no signal and no way to actually call anyone, the jiggling stopped immediately. I heard footsteps running away from the cabin, crunching through the leaves. I ran downstairs and looked out the kitchen window. In the moonlight, I could see a figure running toward the tree line. They were wearing dark clothing and what looked like a hood. That was it. I wasn't staying another minute. I threw all my stuff into my car as fast as I could. I didn't even bother to clean up or anything. I just wanted to get out of there. As I was loading the last bag into my trunk, I noticed something I hadn't seen before. There was a small trail camera mounted on a tree pointed directly at the cabin's front door. I got in my car and drove. It was almost 3 a.m. and pitch black on that narrow driveway. But I didn't care. When I finally got back to the main road and had cell service, I pulled over and called the police. I told them everything. They said they'd send someone to check it out and that I should contact the Airbnb host. I messaged David from the side of the road telling him what happened. He called me immediately. He sounded genuinely shocked and concerned. He said he had no idea what I was talking about, that he'd never installed any trail cameras and that he was so sorry this happened. I needed to get away from Chicago for a few days. My divorce had just been finalized and I just wanted some peace and quiet to clear my head. I found this cabin rental in northern Wisconsin, about 4 hours from the city. It was cheap. Maybe too cheap, but the photos looked nice enough. Small place, 1 bedroom, surrounded by woods. The owner's name was Janet, and she seemed friendly through our messages. The drive up was fine until I turned onto the dirt road leading to the cabin. It went on for maybe 2 miles, getting narrower the whole way. No other houses, just trees on both sides. The cabin was smaller than the photos made it look, but it was clean. Janet had left a welcome basket with wine and crackers on the counter. I unpacked and settled in for a quiet weekend. That first night I fell asleep on the couch. Around 3 a.m. I woke up with a stiff neck and moved to the bedroom. When I turned on the light, I noticed something weird. There was a window on the far wall, but it had curtains nailed directly into the wood, not hung, actually nailed, and there was a bookshelf pushed in front of it, blocking access completely. Seemed strange, but I was too tired to care. I crawled into bed and passed out. The next day was peaceful. I read, walked the trails, enjoyed the quiet. Around 10 p.m. I went outside to grab my phone charger from the car. The porch light didn't come on. Using my phone flashlight, I saw footprints in the dirt leading from the trees to the back of the cabin. Fresh boot prints on top of the wet dirt from that afternoon's rain. They went right up to the bedroom window. I ran inside and locked everything. My heart was pounding. I tried to convince myself it was Janet checking on the property or maybe a lost hiker, but I couldn't stop thinking about that nailed-up window. Around 2 a.m. I heard scratching on the bedroom wall. The wall with the covered window. Slow, deliberate scratching like fingernails on wood. I turned on the lamp and stared at the wall. The scratching continued for 30 seconds, then stopped. I wanted to pull the bookshelf away and look outside, but every instinct told me not to. The scratching started again, faster this time, more frantic. I called Janet twice. Both times it went to voicemail. The scratching stopped suddenly. I sat on the bed with the lights on, waiting. Eventually, I must have fallen asleep. When I woke up, it was morning. I went outside to check the back of the cabin in daylight. The The footprints were still there, and there were more now, circling the entire cabin. Under the bedroom window were deep scratch marks in the wood siding, fresh splinters on the ground below. I started packing immediately. As I loaded my car, an old pickup truck pulled up. An elderly man got out. "You staying at Janet's place?" he asked. "I'm leaving." He nodded like this didn't surprise him. "How many nights you been here?" "2. Why?" "Janet's brother used to live in that cabin about 5 years back. Had mental problems, said someone was always looking in at him through that bedroom window. He's the one who nailed those curtains up. Said he didn't want it looking at him anymore." The thing in the woods. My stomach dropped. "What happened to him?" "He died. Heart attack at 42. The night he died, police found all the curtains ripped down and the window smashed. They said he did it during a psychotic episode, but..." He paused. "The glass was on the inside of the room, like something broke in from the outside, not out. I got in my car and drove. An hour later, Janet texted, 'Sorry I missed your calls, everything okay?' I didn't respond. I got a partial refund from Airbnb. Janet left me a review saying I was a difficult guest who left without explanation. I don't care about the review. I keep thinking about those scratch marks on the outside of the window, about the glass on the inside of the room when her brother died. He was trying to keep something out. And whatever it was, I don't think it's gone. I'll never rent a cabin in the woods again. Some things are blocked off for a reason. Thank you for listening to my stories. If you want more stories like these, then kindly give this video a thumbs up and subscribe the channel for more videos.